Now it's on. Yep, it's on. This one belongs to this. Got it. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. How are you? Good to see you. It is what it is. You don't have to apologize for it. Oh, yeah, I saw that. We treat it still as one time. So, I have, I watched that situation. I kind of figured the state's coming up, but yep. Yeah, that's the state. Was it? I'm sure not, because you lose out too, right? Yeah.
Looks like we're ready to get going, Madam Clerk. So we'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, I'll have you call the roll, please.
Thank you. Member Williams?
Present.
Member Klein? Your microphone button is a,
You have to press. Oh, there's a button.
Oh, it's that one. Thank you. Present. Of course, it's up there.
Member Klein, present. Member Estremera? Chairperson Estremera, excuse me.
Aye.
Member Gomez, absent. Alternate Nguyen?
Present.
Thank you. Member Chim?
Aye.
Member Snow?
Here.
Member Bascol? Absent. Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move right along to public comment. Now's the time for members of the public to address us on any issue that's not on our agenda today. Do we have any requests to address us?
I do have one hand raised in Zoom and no speakers in chambers, so we have one request.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
So we'll go
Move right
with,
along then to approval of the
sorry,
consent.
we do have one.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
You have a comment?
We're hybrid now, so we have one virtual speaker.
Got it. Okay.
3 minutes or 2 minutes?
Yes, 2 minutes.
Three?
is good.
I think we need to do 3 for general. Okay, 3 minutes. Our first speaker is Paul Soto. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. The timer will start when you begin speaking.
Good afternoon, Mr. Soto.
Good afternoon, Paul Soto from Mario Horseshoe. I'd like to talk about, I looked up the health and safety code that governs basically what it is that this item is about. And the city of San Jose has given too many tax breaks to developers. They haven't contributed their fair share consistent with the profits that they're going to be extracting from the city of San Jose, the county of Santa Clara. Now, I'm not too familiar on how you guys draw their lines, how you draw your lines, or what kind of legal language your lawyers use in order to basically con the people. But what I'm going to say is that I know when I'm being conned and I know when I'm being burnt. That much I do know. I don't need to be a lawyer to know that. I don't need to be a lawyer to know that I'm being taken advantage of. And so what the city of San Jose has been doing is constantly giving tax breaks. So that skews these numbers. It doesn't put enough in there commensurate with the profits that is being extracted. I think we need to measure what we need to do and we need some political will, some courage to do this, is that we need to start getting how much profit these developers are going to be making and then tax that. We tax that because I'm sick and tired of I'm sick and tired of urban community. I'm sick and tired of J. Paul. I'm sick and tired of Eric Hayden coming to my barrio and gentrifying the Chicanos and the Mexicanos out of it. And then they're smiling in our faces by not paying their fair share. I'm sick of that. I'm tired of it. And we need people that have I can't really use that language here in this meeting, but they need to have that courage, that coraje, to be able to challenge it. Now, I'm a Chicano, which means that I don't tolerate anything that exploits the people. I understand my history, and I understand the history of California, and I understand the history of San Jose. I think I proved that when I took Thomas Fallon's statue down. I took him in that chamber, and I took the most powerful man in this city, and I took his trophy right from him in front of everybody. So I'm sick and tired of this exploitation of this tax, and this is what I propose. Now, I'm proposing a solution. I think we need to get really familiar with the idea of taxing the red line districts in this city. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We need to create a tax base because we have deficits that are going to bear the is going to sick of the poor all the time that we need to make some quote unquote hard decisions. It's always the poor that get the shaft. Now I think we need to start taxing the red line districts and start taxing the equity in those homes.
Thank you. That concludes public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. So we'll move right along then to approval of the consent calendar. There's a request to, let's see, take out number 7, so we'll do that after 11. So let me entertain a motion for the consent calendar.
I'm sorry, did you say item 7 is being removed from the consent calendar?
Yes, yes, we'll take care of it at the end.
Perfect.
At whose request?
So I have a follow-up question regarding number 7.
That's why I took it out, so we.
So Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Klein requested to put item 7 on the regular agenda?
I was going to make a motion.
I see, okay.
Thank you,
I move to approve the consent calendar minus item 7.
thank you. Is there a
I second.
All right, motion is second to approve the consent calendar without number 7. Those for motion say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Abstentions? Yes. Mr. Williams? Oh. You would say aye. Okay, thank you. That passes. We'll move right along then to number 4, adopt resolution to approve the recognized obligation payment schedule administrative budget for July 1 through June 30th for the successor agency to the redevelopment agency of the city of San Jose. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that.
And I can speak to that to start with, if
Yes.
helpful.
Yes,
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Darrow with the County
Yes,
Exec's
Brian.
office. This is my first oversight board meeting. I'm coming in, stepping in for Jenny Trice, who had spent many years in serving this board, and so she took a job closer to home. So we're sad that she moved on, but I'll do my best to try to fill those big shoes. I did on this item. One quick thought. I know the city of San Jose was not able, or at least a couple key people weren't able to join in person, but I think they were going to try to join by Zoom, and so I don't know if they're on the line or not. But the reason this was on the regular agenda is not a complicated issue. It was just we wanted to have a quick discussion just about San Jose, the way time is being tracked for staff time for the city of San Jose's successor agency. So there's no objection to the ROPS.
yes.
But the county auditor controller, if you see the legislative file, had flagged that there was a little bit of a concern about going forward how time was allocated in the administrative budget. So the thought was it'd be helpful to actually track actual time going forward. So nothing to do in terms of today. And again, the auditor controller has no objection. But we thought that it'd be useful just to have an actual accounting of time in the future so that next year, when this comes back for the 25-26 year, we have a better understanding of the actual time spent. And we spoke with the city of San Jose, and they're comfortable with that approach. They're going to actually start tracking that time in July. And so just wanted to sunshine that for the board. Again, no objection to the ROPS at this point, but wanted to flag that for folks.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions?
Just one. Is there anyone from the city of San Jose that is in the audience or not?
Yes.
Hi, I'm not sure if I can be heard.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, we do have my name is Luz Cafresi Howe. I am the Assistant Director of Finance for the city. First of all, many apologies for not being there in person. Unfortunately, I got caught up in a state of California meeting that ran long. So similar to Darren, this is my first meeting before this board, so thank you for entertaining our request. In the audience is Chinyu Sun, who is a Deputy Director of Finance for Debt and Treasury, who also more directly manages the SARA responsibilities, as well as Kevin Fisher, who is our Assistant City Attorney, who can answer some specific questions as well. In response to, and thank you, Darren, for being eloquent about how we intend to start covering, tracking our personnel, our administrative costs in the future. It has been very challenging to manage this portfolio. For example, I'm not on the ROPS, even though I spend some time on the ROPS. But what we do intend to do is just basically keep our activities, our administrative activities, focused on delivering their required activities. And some of the level of support that you get from folks like me and others simply does not appear on the ROPS because we effectively give that in kind to the effort. And so our intention is to start tracking time, everyone's time. That would be including me and those other ancillary folks who haven't been historically tracking time. Starting July 1st, we've already reached out to our payroll department to set up that structure, and we are providing you very detailed timesheets along with what the items that we are specifically working on. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank the city of San Jose for agreeing to do that. I think it's an excellent idea, regardless of whoever thought of it. And it's not in my mind, it's not about more or less, it's just about accuracy. I want to make sure that that we're compensating the city adequately out of the ROPS if you're spending more time than you anticipated once you start logging it. And alternatively, if you don't, then it saves the taxpayers some money. So again, I want to thank you and appreciate the opportunity beginning in July for us to have an accurate record of time spent. Thank you.
Any further discussion? This is here for adoption of a resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll move to accept.
Is there a second?
Second by Klein.
Great. Any questions? Those for the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Adopted. We'll move right along then to item number 5, adopt resolution regarding the routes for the city of Sunnyvale.
Yeah, and I can jump in on this one too, if that's helpful. Can you hear me? Lean in, yeah. Thank you, Jess. So item 5, as the chair mentioned, is a resolution to approve the Sunnyvale ROPS. There was a difference of opinion between the successor agency and the county auditor controller on this one in terms of what amount should be included in the ROPS related to item 16, which is a parcel in the former Sunnyvale Town Center. That area has been proposed, as I understand it, for townhomes for many years now. And Sunnyvale had asked for about $70,000 exactly, in case remediation was needed for that site, as required, as I understand it, by the as could be required by the Regional Water Board. The auditor controller did submit an objection letter to that $70,000 request. And they did that, as I understand it, the objection letter is included in there. There was a call made to the Water Board, and the Water Board indicated that it's unlikely that there would be activity related to that project this year. And in fact, the developer indicated that the project is indefinitely on hold. And so the auditor controller's opinion and county administration agrees was that it doesn't seem likely there's going to be activity on that project. Therefore, it doesn't seem likely that amount will actually be needed. And so instead, the recommendation from the auditor, treasurer, and county administration was to lower that dollar amount to $10,000. There's been a request for about $70,000 in the last few years for that line item, and there hasn't been a spend that's been above $10,000. So we thought that was a prudent amount. If the project were to unexpectedly be restarted, there is an ability to amend the ROPS. So there would be a chance to at that time, probably September, or at whatever appropriate point in the future, amend the ROPS so that we could handle that expense. So that's our recommendation. And the resolution is, awaiting the Oversight Board's decision on that, the overall approval, right? But there's a blank for the dollar amount for that piece, and we can fill that in based on your direction. And so I didn't know if there were any questions on that. I believe folks from Sunnyvale may also be in the room. And I don't know if...
Yes, it looks like it. Come right up, see if we have any questions. Good afternoon.
See, am I on? Here we go. Am I on? Hello. Hi, Tim Kirby, Director of Finance for the City of Sunnyvale.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kirby.
Good afternoon.
Questions? All right, I see no questions. Yes.
I had a question for staff, and so the adjustment that would happen, so it's on a fiscal year, so I'm trying to remember how this, from a timing standpoint, if the cost is larger than, if things start moving forward and the cost is larger, how does it come back to this board to approve kind of post-fact the charges? Just trying to clarify that.
Do you want to, I see.
Or does it need to be approved before it would be spent? And that's,
No,
Okay.
we do prior period adjustments all the time.
Okay.
So it's not unusual.
just checking. Thank you.
I have a follow-up.
Yes.
So can you clarify the $347,000 in the surplus amount from prior Roths? Where is that sitting right now? And, because you're saying that that's there, they can tap into that?
Yeah, and I'll ask Lizanne from County Council to weigh in too if she wants to supplement. My understanding, so the existence of those dollars would still require an amended ROPS, but so you can't just tap into those funds. We would need to come back to the board to amend the ROPS, but those funds are already sort of carved out, and so there wouldn't necessitate another action by the auditor controller, as I understand it. And so I think it's just, it's not in lieu of needing to amend the ROPS, which is a fairly straightforward process, but it's just a sort of indication of the recent underspend and that there are resources that could be transferred over in that situation.
Yeah, I would ask the county auditor controller staff to respond as to where exactly those dollars sit. I don't know if they've been dispersed to the successor agency or they're just sitting in the RPTTF or some side account. Do you know that, Brian?
I don't, and we have, but Jocelyn Ma is here from the auditor controller's office, so I see her coming down. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Jasmine from Controller's Office. So basically, those are the funds that are currently sitting with the agency, successor agency now, because those are the amount that previously they requested on the ROPS, and those are projected amount. And also, they need to provide us what's the actual spending in the past years. So that's the difference, because the actual spending was less than the requested amount. So that's the balance sitting in successor agency's account. Basically, it's the cash balance right now.
So it's there. Thank you.
Associated with admin, though, right? It's associated with the
Yes,
admin. Yeah.
and as well as the project,
Okay.
all the ROPS.
Any further questions?
Just another follow-up question.
Yes.
So is it common for the city not to provide supporting document when they're requesting for budget? 'Cause
No,
could-
they do, for agency, they request for an amount, they provide us with a document and supporting to justify for the amount that they request.
But in this situation, there was no supporting document for the $70,000 that's being requested? Is
No
it-
outside supporting document, but we do receive the justification from team.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if I can, we support, and I just want to, since I'm on now, I want to clarify a little bit. This is addressing a groundwater contamination that is from a dry cleaner from many years ago. Whether the development is moving forward or not is not necessarily relevant, although there would be mitigation efforts that would have to be in place for the developer to put in place to build townhomes on the property. The plume is 40 or 50 feet away from a residential neighborhood. The reason we maintained our existing request is because it has not been moving, but we have been coming out of multiple dry years, and now we're in multiple wet years, so there is uncertainty about how that plume will behave. And so that was the reason we requested it. I understand we can come back and amend the ROPS or ask for a prior period adjustment. That's simply more effort and work for us on our end, and really don't see the benefit of that if we just get the budget that we might need in case the plume moves and we have to take mitigation efforts. That was our thinking on that. Thank you.
And then just,
Yes.
so when do you anticipate the project starting?
I am not familiar with when the developer is planning to do that particular section of the project. But the entire Sunnyvale downtown is currently in active development and has been for multiple years. And I would anticipate that that phase is going to be coming up here within the next year or two.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, so we'll entertain a motion for approval of the ROPS for a scheduled period of July 1, 23 through June 30th, 24.
Mr. Chair, just one, we realized we had a typo in the legislative file, so we gave you the wrong year in the legislative file. It's correct in the resolution, but it's actually for the period July 1st, 2024 through
2025.
June 30th, 2025. So apologies for that.
Okay, so it's a year later. Okay.
Later, that's right.
Present year forward. Any questions? I didn't get a motion yet, so I'll wait to.
Just a quick question.
Yes, Mr.
Are we voting on it as was presented, or are we voting on it with the amendment to be a lesser amount, 10,000 rather than 70,000?
Well, actually, so the board will need to vote on an amount. So there isn't, currently in the resolution, there is a blank for that dollar amount. So it's up to the board to actually specify what you'd like to see there. And I think from staff's perspective, given the water board, I mean, we feel like it's a bit speculative at this point to know what is going to happen with that project. So rather than banking money away, which, you know, historically there has been an underspend with the successor agency, rather than putting more there that might be underspent, we wanted to see something real in terms of a project potentially moving forward, mitigation actually being needed, or remediation actually being needed. And the water board, again, indicated to us that they didn't see that on the horizon at the moment. So we think because there's a path to get this amended if something real gets started, that it would be more prudent to go with the lower dollar amount, but it's at the, obviously, the prerogative of the board.
So,
Then I have a follow-up question. Perhaps the city can answer. You've been requesting this amount of money for mitigation in prior ROPS. Is that correct?
Yes.
For how many years?
It's been quite some time. I would think at least the last 5.
So for 5 years, you've requested the funds to mitigate and have not used the funds for that purpose in 5 years. Am I correctly understanding that?
I'd portray it a little differently. We've requested the funds in case we need to mitigate, and we haven't had to mitigate in the last few years.
Semantics, but yes, thank you. I appreciate your clarity. Personally, I think that we've given more than ample opportunity on the possibility that you might do that. I'm inclined to support 10,000.
Is that your motion, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve it with the number of $10,000 as the amount to be approved rather than the 70 that was proposed.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All right. Motion is second then, and the amount as described is $10,000.
And just for clarity for the clerk, so the motion would be to approve the ROPS
Yes.
with the line item, I'm reading it here, is it 16, item 16? The town center disposition, instead of 70, that being 10,000, and the total ROPS amount would adjust then.
Yes, and for clarification, we're talking about the period between July 1, 2024 and June 30th, 2025.
Correct.
That's correct.
So I've noted a correction from Mr. Darrow on
Yes.
the agenda language. There's no correction to the time period on the resolution, but the motion is to approve the resolution as amended to update page 2, paragraph 2, line 5, to include an amount of $10,000.
Correct.
That's
Thank you.
correct.
All right. If there's no further questions, then those for the motion say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Okay.
Apologies, so sorry. We do have a request for public comment online.
Oh, okay. We'll listen to it.
So we'll, before the vote, take this speaker for 2 minutes. We'll open the microphone for Paul Soto. You'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. My hand was up on the last item. I would like if the board would please allow me to at least extend a word of gratitude to the people that want to make certain that the city of San Jose is documenting their hours. There's been a lot of corruption in the city of San Jose. There still is a lot of corruption in the city of San Jose, and we need to be honest about that. We can't gingerly tiptoe ourselves around that item. And I felt like, I was like, wow, I almost want to move to Sunnyvale because these people are being honest about like what's going on. Hey, we got 70, 60 grand we ain't spent. We'll just, lower it down. I mean, that is a responsible government that is being responsible to the taxpayer. I'm the taxpayer. So I'm the one that we need to keep government in check, because if we don't, government will run all over the people. Sam Liccardo is a perfect example of that. They're running roughshod. The government is corrupted in the city of San Jose, and they are not responsible to the people. They are treating us like we're children in a very paternalistic way. So now getting back to this topic, just, hey, thank you for whatever representatives and whatever you guys are doing in Sunnyvale. And I know that's the city where Supervisor what they produce very parliament, and Supervisor Otterly is exemplified in that. So just thank you to the city of Sunnyvale for being responsible and accountable to the people, to the public. Thank you.
That concludes public comment. If you could please finish up the vote for this item.
Is that it? Thank you, Mr. Soto. I assure you, this board takes this responsibility of reviewing and approving these expenditures very seriously, as we have done during specifically when we had reviews on each of the cities and each of the redevelopment agencies. It was my experience as a participant on those boards that we took our responsibility very, very seriously, made sure that we reviewed every single one of the expenditures in these ROPS, that they were reasonable, rational, and responsible. We'll move right along then to
Apologies,
our adjournment.
I do just need to get the ayes into the record.
Yes. So we have a motion then, as mentioned by the clerk, an amended motion. Those for motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. Abstentions? Adopted. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, so we'll move right along to number 7 before we go to 11. So number 7, receive report from the successor agency to the redevelopment agency of the city of San Jose relating to successor agency activities. Yes.
Yes, so thank you to staff at the City of San Jose for providing the updated activities. I only have a simple question, and I know there's lots of, agencies out there that are dealing with a similar issue as it relates to the Montgomery Hotel. So I was going through the item, and my question is, it looks like the Kana Enterprise Group, who's responsible for the payment of the revenue, they stopped paying as of June 2023. Is that correct? Or
Yeah. Kevin Fisher, who is our assistant city attorney, is in the offices. Once again, thank you for the question. This is Luz Capresi-Howe, and Kevin Fisher will address your question.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board members. Kevin Fisher,
Yes,
board
Mr.
members and
Fisher.
staff. Kevin Fisher, Assistant City Attorney, City of San Jose. I'll actually defer to Chin Yu on that question. I will tell you that the Kana Enterprises is up to date on the revenue participation payments. It's the promissory note that we're not getting payments on, which is a separate obligation.
got it. I was understanding it as two different items.
Yeah.
And I see that you're writing off the promissory note. So because I was reading that bullet, and it says that the only action that the successor agency can take is collections action. That's why I figured that they're not paying, but it's on the promissory note only, right?
Yes, that's correct. And the debtor on the promissory note is Montgomery Hotel Group LLC, and that entity dissolved back in 2009. So unfortunately, there's no debtor to go after, and the note is not a secured note. There's not a deed of trust on the property, so there's no security for the note. And since the debtor doesn't exist anymore, there's really no practical way to collect on the note.
Got it. So how many years is the city anticipating on writing off this debt?
I'll defer to Chin Yu on that. This note. And just to clarify, it's the successor agency, not the city.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Chen Yu-san, Deputy Director of Finance for the City of San Jose. We have this note with Montgomery Hotel to, it's a long term, I'm just going to look for it. Long-term loan is 4.9. The note officially has a maturity date of December 31st, 2065, but the debtor has been defaulting on this loan for several years already. We have not received any payment for this loan, but since the debtor is no longer in existence, and through consultation with our city attorney's office, we have no other option but to write off. And then current outstanding balance for this loan is $4.9 million.
Yeah, so I'm assuming 10,000 a year. Is that correct? Because that's a payment, right? They've missed 3 already.
I'm not so sure. Do you know? We can get back the information to you regarding the amortized payment for this loan.
Thank you.
Right now, I don't have that information within my hand.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Council.
Yeah, I think we need more information. I don't see any authority for a successor agency to basically terminate an obligation. I think that needs to come to the Oversight Board. Prohibitions on former redevelopment agencies include disposing of assets. I would consider this a disposal of assets, including any loans of any kind. So I just think we need more information before this loan is written off. I mean, everything that they say may be true, maybe it's not collectible, but I just think we don't have enough information right now.
So can we bring this back then
Yes.
at our next meeting?
Yes.
So Kevin Fisher again, what exactly would you be looking for? Are you looking for a draft resolution for the board to consider?
I think we need to understand more about the loan and how the Montgomery Hotel dissolved. Did somebody else take over their assets or assume their assets? Did they go through bankruptcy? We just don't know.
Well, as the report indicates, the loan was, I'll say, personal to that entity. The loan is not secured. The entity dissolved in 2009, so there's nobody to proceed to collect against, and it's not a secured loan.
When they dissolved, who assumed their assets?
Nobody.
So what? How did?
They didn't have any assets.
Okay. Well, can you just provide the Oversight Board with documentation for all of that? I mean, we just have a summary right here, and it's.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you.
We can. I believe your next meeting is in September.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So we could provide a draft resolution if that would be helpful.
Yeah, any information you could provide, I think, would be helpful.
Okay, we can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then just also to confirm, is the promissory note, is that the only obligation left for this?
Well, there's the revenue participation payments that Kana Enterprise is current on, and those are on the hotel, and the hotel they're making those payments.
Okay.
So there's the revenue participation payments which are being made by the current operator of the hotel, and then the promissory note was a separate obligation that was only on the previous operator, and that was not a secured obligation. So again, once the operator went out of business, there's no way to collect on that note.
No, I look forward to the additional clarification.
Sure. We can provide that.
Very good.
Yeah, and I would add to that I'd like the details going back to 2005, how you write $5 million in value to thin air.
Well, if you notice, and this predates all of us here, but the loan was structured where the first payments didn't happen for 16 years. So
Nevertheless, there's no collateral, there's no skin in the
Correct.
game, and people wonder what we're doing here in the meeting all day sometimes. Thank you.
Mr. Williams?
Just confirm for me, there were no personal guarantees on the note. There were no collateral of any kind on the note.
that's correct.
And that was done why?
That,
Never mind. It was a rhetorical question.
Yeah. I mean, I've been with the city since 1997, but I wasn't working on redevelopment issues back then, and unfortunately, we don't have any. This is it. We don't have anybody here who has that institutional memory.
This was the building that the city moved, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes.
I thought so. Thank you.
If there's nothing further, then we'll bring it back to the next meeting. Thank you for taking that out of consent. Appreciate that. If there's nothing further, then we'll adjourn at this time. We've got this issue to carry forward then for our next meeting, and any other business we have to take care of. Brian?
Was there, I just wondered, just procedurally, if on that item, since there was a request to, I think the action was receive report, if the board needs to take any formal, because what I'm hearing is hold off on, don't write off the promissory note, and in fact, there may not be authority to do that, actually, without oversight board approval, but bring back information at the September meeting, and potentially a resolution to consider whether that could be done, but a lot of information just on the promissory note itself, if I'm here. But I didn't know if a motion was needed or if everyone,
Requests don't require a motion, only
This was
direction
on
does.
as information. We're just requesting further information.
Okay,
think
and
that-
it seems like the city has heard it, and we'll hear
Yes,
back
if
in
I
September.
may, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Gibbs.
We're fine taking direction from the board in this manner and coming back, and we've handled these matters in a similar way previously, so we're good.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll adjourn at this time. Thank you all for our meeting this afternoon. I'll just quickly note that alternate Mayor Montano was also present at the meeting. Thank you. Thank you all. Afternoon.
Thank you.
Probably before. Santa Clara will probably need to have something.
Nice.
More with the convention center, or?
No, with either the hotel or with the office building.